What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGD, and today we're going to be doing a quick review of Dark Quest 3. Now, Dark Quest 3 is a rogue-lite tabletop that mixes card-based exploration with turn-based combat according to the description of the game. It was published and developed by Brain Seal Entertainment. They're a small UK-based developer/publisher. The game is available on Steam, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and the Nintendo Switch. Now it is $18.99 across all platforms except the Xbox version, which is only $15.99. I myself was lucky enough to get a review copy of the game, so I didn't have to pay anything. And let's get into it. Let's give my thoughts on this game, Dark Quest 3. Now, in Dark Quest 3, you and your band of heroes are setting across the land to stop an evil wizard. Now, you start off with only 4 classes available. That is the Barbarian, the Dwarf, the Archer, and the Wizard. But through the course of your journey, you can unlock 8 more classes. And this is essential to beating the game because the game is tough but fair. And you need those extra classes because all those skills, there's a lot of synergy between certain classes, and if you play the game, the more you go through it, you're going to learn the little intricacies of the game, the little intricacies of the classes. Now, there are 13 areas in the game, though you only traverse 7 during a single run. At the end of every area, you start off, you have to do the forest, but at the end of every area, you end up choosing 1 or 2 areas to go to. At the beginning of the game, you cannot choose the second area. You have to explore the first area that unlocks the ability to choose the second one. So there is some limits when you first go through, but it is a roguelite, which means there are some unlockables that you can get through the course of your adventure. In every area, you're going to meet a member of the Thieves Guild. He's going to give you a certain amount of crystals. You can use those crystals to upgrade every area. You upgrade the starting area, which helps you start off with more gold, helps you start off with more potions. You can upgrade the other areas, which helps you get more healing, get better classes, unlock better equipment, etc., etc. The battle portion of the game is turn-based. Each enemy has specific AI, so you can see what the AI is. Some enemies attack the closest, some enemies attack the highest HP, some attack the lowest. You really have to learn each enemy and learn what they're going to do so you can anticipate and come out victorious. Now, the basic gameplay loop is you go through the game, you start off, you pick your adventurers, you go through the different levels. You draw cards. Each card is going to have a different event, whether it is a good event, like you found some gold, you found an item, or a bad event, you were attacked. You might have to go through a trap. You might have to have choices during different cards. But essentially, it is like a RPG, a D&D session for a single player. The aesthetic is exactly like a tabletop RPG, and they look like little mini figurines, and they move around like mini figurines. The sounds and sights really put you at home with the idea that you are playing a tabletop RPG. With that said, it is very fun. It is a good adventure, but there is not, in my opinion, a lot of replayability after beating the game. Once you've beaten the game, there's no extra sort of things to unlock, right? Once you have unlocked everything, all the classes, there's 12 classes, you can unlock them, within a day, maybe 2, depending on how often you play the game.
Choose a hero.
A lot of the equipment seems unnecessary. You don't really need every piece of equipment unlocked in order to beat the game. The skins for the different classes that you can unlock, again, they're nice but not necessary. There are 4 difficulty settings. You unlock the higher difficulty settings after beating the game. But again, all it does is make the game insanely more hard by starting you off with less health. The easy mode starts you off with more health, which is greatly appreciated because health is the most precious commodity in this game. It's not gold, it's not items, it is health, because the only way to improve your health is through a random events, through potions, or through an insane amount of luck. Because there are a couple of runes that you can unlock that are going to get you health when you kill an enemy. Some runes give you the ability to double the amount of health a potion gives you, and potions are very scarce in this game. So little tip, if you're playing, try not to use your potions until you unlock the rune that gives you double the amount of healing per potion. That'll make your potions last so much longer. Speaking of runes, you're probably asking yourself, what are runes? How do you get them? Well, runes are usually unlocked by beating the boss of the area. And the boss of the area does not necessarily come at the end. That's right, because the cards are drawn randomly. You can encounter a boss in the middle of a dungeon, you can encounter the boss at the beginning of the dungeon, or at the end of the dungeon. It's all pretty random. But when you beat the boss, you'll unlock a rune. That rune usually has a passive that helps your characters throughout the rest of their adventure. Certain runes are better than others, obviously, and I think that's one of the detriments of the game, because you only go through certain areas. You can't go through every area. You can't pick which particular areas you want to go through, and so what it ends up doing is you want to get those better runes, so you avoid certain dungeons, you avoid certain areas, and they don't get the shine that they need, right? And basically you end up playing the same 4 or 5 different zones, because the other ones have items and runes that aren't as good as the ones you're picking. There are equipment cards in this game that you can find. You can find various bits of equipment. They have different abilities, whether it is to increase your body attacks, which are essentially physical attacks, or magic attacks. Not all classes do physical attacks, not all classes do magic attacks. Your party is more skewed toward physical fighters. There are a few secrets in the game I'm not going to spoil, but you can unlock the ability to become a dragon during your run. So that is pretty neat. But the items, again, you find them randomly. You don't necessarily have a choice when you go to shops. When you find a shop, it is again random. So you can end up in a situation where you have all physical fighters and you end up finding a lot of magical items. There are situations where you end up not being able to proceed in a good manner because you have really bad dice rolls. There's a lot of RNG in this game. And that's both a plus and a minus, right? Because when you're having those really good runs, you're all glad, you love the RNG, you love it. When you're having really bad runs, you're like, man, I really wish it wasn't so randomized, because that one bad dice roll really threw my whole game off. Luckily enough, there are extra dice rolls that you can unlock during the game. You start off with 1. You can upgrade your camp to start you off with a couple extra dice rolls. You can earn extra dice rolls through the course of the game by doing various events that you get lucky enough to have. But you want to save those for really crucial events, right? Losing 1 or 2 HP, it's not really reason to re-roll. Losing 10 to 20, now you might want to think about using that re-roll. Or if your character is going to be taken out of the battle for 3 or 4 battles, you might want to say, hey, wait a minute, let me use a re-roll here. Like I said, the game can be frustrating, but that frustration does lead you to want to do it one more time. You think that you're going to have a new strategy, you think you're going to be able to beat it. The only real downside, like I said, is the price. $18.99 for what you're getting is not that great of a deal. $15.99 is a little more reasonable on the Xbox, but still, I think $9.99 would have been the sweet spot for this game. Because like I said, after you beat it, after you've cleared it, there really isn't a lot of reason to go back unless you're really in love with the gameplay. The story is just what I told you. You're going after a wizard. There's not much else to it. Eventually, you're going to get all the cards. You're going to read all the little bits of flavor text, and then it just sort of repeats itself. the novelty wears off. Overall, I would say that if you catch this one on sale and you're interested in this type of game, if you're interested in the things that you've seen in the video, what you heard me say, then pick it up. If not, you could probably skip this one. Like I said, it is a little pricey, so I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to skip this one. With that said, I'll catch you on the next time. As always, love, peace, booty grease. We out this bitch.